How do you know if he truly loves you, even when he doesn't say it? In this video, we reveal 7 powerful psychologically backed signs inspired by Carl Jung's insights that uncover the quiet ways deep love is shown, often without a single word. We'll explore subtle emotional signals, non-verbal actions, and psychological truths that reveal hidden affection. If you value emotional depth and want to recognize genuine love, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit the like button. Comment below with the phrase "love is seen, not just heard," and tell us where you're watching from. Number 1. Actions over words, the unspoken language of love. Have you ever found yourself wondering why he doesn't say those 3 little words, even though his presence feels so warm and comforting? It's easy to feel confused when words are missing, but sometimes love speaks louder through what a person does than what they say. In this part of the video, you'll discover how to notice those subtle actions that whisper "I love you" when his lips stay silent. You're not imagining things. Love often shows up in the details. Think about the times he remembers the little things about you. Not the obvious ones like your birthday or favorite color, but the way you like your coffee or how you prefer quiet on Sunday mornings. These tiny efforts aren't random. They're small signs of care, repeated without needing recognition. Have you seen him do something that made your day a little easier, even when he didn't have to? That's love in action. Sometimes he shows up when it matters most, not with grand gestures, but by being there when you're feeling low. Maybe he brings soup when you're sick, or listens without trying to fix your problems. Being emotionally present when you're not at your best is a quiet form of devotion. Ask yourself, who do you turn to when things go wrong, and who shows up without being asked? Consistency can be more powerful than passion. A man who's always there, texting to check in, making plans to see you, remembering what you like, might not be dramatic, but he's invested. It's not always about sweeping declarations. It's about being part of your everyday life in a way that feels natural. Have you ever felt cared for without needing to ask? Now let's look at protection, not in a possessive way, but in the way he makes you feel safe. He might walk on the outside of the sidewalk, or wait until you've entered your home before leaving. These are simple gestures, but they show an instinct to guard and nurture. Do you feel more secure when he's around, even in silence? Another quiet sign of love is support. Not just clapping when you win, but standing with you when you fail. Maybe he encourages your dreams, listens when you're uncertain, and believes in you even when you don't. Emotional support often comes without applause, but its impact runs deep. Has he ever made you feel like you could keep going just because he believed in you? You might notice he includes you in future plans, even in small ways. Not necessarily big talks about marriage or children, but simple phrases like "next time we go there," or "when we travel next summer." These casual hints suggest that in his mind, you're already a part of what's to come. Have you caught those subtle clues? Pay attention to how he treats your needs. Maybe he gives you space when you need quiet, or checks in after a hard day. It's not about fixing everything, but about recognizing and honoring what you feel. That's a deep kind of empathy. Do you ever feel seen even when you don't say much? Let's talk about presence. Not the kind that takes up space, but the kind that makes you feel less alone. If he's around during the boring or hard moments, not just the fun ones, that's a big deal. Think about the last time you needed someone and he was there. Wasn't that a quiet kind of love? Another sign is when he remembers your stories, the random things you've shared about your past or your dreams. When he brings them up later, it shows he's been listening closely. Love listens. Have you ever been surprised by how much he remembers about you? He may not say "I love you," but he might tease you in gentle ways or smile when you're not looking. His eyes might soften when you talk, or his body might naturally lean toward you. These small unconscious cues can reveal feelings more honestly than words. Have you ever caught him watching you like that? You may also notice that he sacrifices small things for your comfort. Maybe he changes his routine to match yours, or gives up something minor just to make you smile. It's not always about big gifts, it's about effort. What has he done lately that made you feel considered? He might offer help before you even ask. Whether it's fixing something, driving you somewhere, or being there when you're overwhelmed, those spontaneous acts mean something. They show he's paying attention and wants to ease your burdens. Has he ever stepped in just at the right time? A man who truly cares doesn't rush your process. If you need time to open up or heal, he respects that without pushing. Patience is one of the quietest but strongest signs of love. Does he give you space while still staying close? Sometimes love shows up in the way he looks at you when you're not performing. When your hair's messy, your mood is off, or you're just being real, does he still show affection? That's when you know it's not about appearances, but about you. If he introduces you to people that matter, his family, his close friends, it means he sees you as part of his circle. Even if he doesn't gush about you, his actions say you're important. Have you noticed how he includes you in his world? Another subtle signal is how he reacts when you're hurt. He might not say much, but his face changes or he checks in more often. Pain triggers concern in people who care deeply. Have you ever seen that protective side of him come out? Look for the way he mirrors your emotions. When you're sad, he seems quieter. When you're happy, he lights up too. Emotional synchronization often reveals unspoken connection. Can you feel his mood shift with yours? He might not post about you online, but if he shares real moments with you in private, that speaks louder. Social displays are easy. Emotional intimacy is harder. Think about what he shares with you behind closed doors. Isn't that more meaningful? Some people give love by fixing things. If he's always trying to solve your problems or make your day better, even if it's clumsy, it's his way of showing he cares. The effort matters. Have you seen him try, even when he doesn't have the words? And finally, pay attention to how he shows up when no one's watching. Love is in the everyday choices, in how he treats you when there's no audience. Is he the same person when it's just the two of you? When you start noticing all these small, consistent signs, you begin to realize love doesn't need to shout. It speaks quietly over time in the details. And in those quiet moments, you might start to hear what his heart has been saying all along. Number 2, the inner world revealed. Emotional vulnerability as a sign of deep affection. Have you ever wondered why someone who seems strong on the outside lets their guard down just for you? When a man allows you to see parts of himself that he usually hides from the world, it's not an accident. It's a choice. A powerful, quiet choice that often signals a depth of love that words can't capture. Throughout this video, you'll discover how emotional vulnerability is one of the clearest signs of real connection. Imagine this. He starts talking about something painful from his past, maybe something he's never mentioned before. It catches you off guard, not because it's dramatic, but because it feels raw, real, and unfiltered. That's not just storytelling, that's trust. When he shares the parts of himself that feel uncertain, ashamed, or afraid, it's a way of saying you matter. Many people think love is just about giving gifts, planning dates, or making big declarations. But emotional risk, letting someone see you in a moment of weakness, is one of the most powerful gifts you can offer. If he talks about his fears, insecurities, or failures without trying to impress you, that's love choosing honesty over perfection. Have you noticed moments like this? He might not always know how to say how he feels, but he tries anyway. Maybe he stumbles over his words, or maybe he gets quiet for a moment, searching for the right way to explain what's going on inside. And still he lets you in. That effort, that willingness to open the door to his inner world is rare. Think about it. When was the last time he let you see behind his smile? Sometimes emotional vulnerability comes in the form of silence. He may not always talk, but his energy shifts. His eyes lower or his shoulders sink, and you sense something deeper is going on. And when you ask, he doesn't push you away. He lets you stay, even if he says very little. Staying in that space with him is a sign of trust. Look at how he reacts when he's hurting. If he lets you comfort him, really comfort him, it means he sees you as safe. Most people hide their pain out of fear of being judged or misunderstood. If he leans on you when things get hard, even a little, it shows how important you are to him. Do you feel like he sees you as a place of peace? There are times when vulnerability appears through small admissions. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never told anyone this. These phrases aren't said lightly. They mean he's choosing to be real with you. Have you heard him say something that made you pause because it was so unexpectedly honest? He may confide in you about his dreams too, not just the ambitions, but the ones that scare him. When he shares what he hopes for, what he wishes he could become, he's showing you who he really is. And even if it's not perfect, even if it's messy, that act of sharing is sacred. Have you ever felt honored to be trusted like that? Vulnerability isn't always soft. It can look like frustration, confusion, even pulling away for a moment. But if he comes back and explains even clumsily what he was feeling, that's love working through the fear. Emotional openness often begins with emotional messiness. Have you seen him struggle and still choose to stay connected? He might also show vulnerability by asking for help, not just with tasks but emotionally. That could mean leaning on your advice, valuing your opinion, or just needing your presence during hard times. Many people avoid this because they don't want to seem weak, but he trusts you enough to lean in. Have you felt that silent request? Sometimes vulnerability shows up in apology. When he says I was wrong or I hurt you and means it, he's opening himself to judgment. That requires humility and strength. When was the last time he admitted a mistake and genuinely wanted to grow from it? You might notice that his tone changes when he's being real. It becomes slower, softer. Maybe his body language shifts too. His posture relaxes or he faces you more openly. These subtle cues show that the wall is coming down. Are you paying attention to these unspoken signs? When he shares childhood memories, especially painful or emotional ones, that's a sign he's inviting you into the most tender parts of his identity. Those early experiences shape who we are, and sharing them is an act of deep trust. Has he ever told you a story that seemed especially close to his heart? He may also admit to feeling lost or unsure about the future. That might seem like a weakness, but it's actually a window into his soul. To say I don't know where I'm going out loud means he feels safe being uncertain with you. And that's rare. Have you noticed him speaking more from the heart than the head? Emotional vulnerability can even be seen when he takes emotional risks, telling you how he feels about you, without knowing if you feel the same, saying I miss you or I need you. These aren't just romantic lines, they're brave declarations. Do you remember the first time he opened up to you like that? Maybe he's shared a struggle with mental health or with stress, or even something he's never told his friends. These moments aren't just informative, they're invitations. He's asking you to see him, not just the version he presents to the world, but the real one underneath. How did you respond in that moment? Another powerful moment of vulnerability is when he opens up after conflict. If you've had an argument and he returns with reflection instead of blame, he's showing growth. Love lives in those quiet spaces of reconciliation. Have you seen him come back even when it was hard? He might show that he cares by revealing how much you affect him. Saying you make me nervous or I think about you all the time can feel awkward for some, but it's real. That kind of openness is a gift. It means you matter more than he can hide. Do you feel the weight of your impact on him? Vulnerability is also in letting go of control. If he used to be guarded but now allows himself to be silly, affectionate or expressive with you, that's a huge shift. He's letting love reshape him. Can you sense that softening in his presence? There might be times when he doesn't know how to explain what he feels, but he still tries to stay close. That effort, to remain connected even when words fail, is a deep form of intimacy. Has he ever chosen to stay near you even in silence? In relationships, vulnerability builds the strongest foundation. When he lets you into his emotional space, he's not just showing love, he's growing it. And each moment of realness, each honest word or glance is a brick in something lasting. This is the kind of connection that prepares both of you for something even deeper. Number 3, patterns, coincidences, and connection. Reading the signs of devotion. Have you ever noticed how some things just seem to fall into place when you're around him? Like bumping into each other unexpectedly, finishing each other's sentences, or sharing the same thought at the same time. These small patterns might feel like coincidences, but they often hint at something more powerful beneath the surface. In this video, we'll explore how love reveals itself in rhythms, timing, and unspoken connections that build over time. Think about how often you and he show up for each other without planning it. Maybe you call when he's about to text, or you both bring up the same topic out of nowhere. These moments feel natural, but they're not random. They're signs that your emotional frequencies are aligned. Have you felt that kind of effortless harmony? You may not even realize how in sync you are until you look back. Maybe your routines started blending without much effort, or your moods shift together. If you feel tired when he's drained, or excited when he's hopeful, it's more than empathy, it's a reflection of deep emotional resonance. Do you recognize that silent exchange between your energies? Sometimes these patterns appear in the way life brings you together again and again. Maybe you've been in and out of touch, or your paths kept crossing even when you weren't trying. That repeated crossing could be a quiet message from the universe that this bond matters. Has life ever pulled you back to him unexpectedly? Even timing can tell a story. Maybe he shows up in your life when you most need comfort or strength, without knowing what you're going through. He says the right thing at the right moment, or his presence just eases your worry. That's not chance, that's connection. Have you ever wondered why he always seems to appear when it counts? Shared interests can be another sign, especially when they weren't planned. Maybe you both love the same obscure movies, find joy in the same little things, or laugh at the same moments. These similarities create an emotional rhythm that feels natural. Do you ever feel like he just gets you without trying? Pay attention to how your lives seem to mirror each other. Maybe you're both going through similar challenges, or you've experienced parallel stories in your past. That shared emotional history makes it easier to understand one another, even without many words. Have you seen your journeys overlap in unexpected ways? He might bring you gifts or ideas that match what you were just thinking about, without you ever mentioning it. Maybe he shows up with your favorite snack after a bad day, or suggests an idea you'd been considering. These moments show he's tuned into you, even on an intuitive level. Have you noticed him reading your needs without being told? There are also signs in the way he anticipates your emotions. Before you even say you're stressed or sad, he's already offering comfort or a change of pace. That sensitivity is built through observation, care, and emotional closeness. Do you feel like he sees what you're feeling before you say a word? Even in conflict, if he seems to circle back to connection and understanding, that pattern tells a deeper story. Real love doesn't vanish after tension. It returns more aware and stronger. Have your disagreements ever led to more closeness rather than distance? You might find yourselves dreaming about each other, literally. Whether you share dreams or he shows up in your thoughts in powerful ways, those subconscious visits are reflections of emotional depth. Pay attention to how often he appears in your inner world. Do you ever wake up thinking of him without knowing why? There are also patterns in how he remembers your routines and responds to them. Maybe he always texts you good luck before a big day, or checks in during your usual downtime. These repeated gestures, no matter how small, say "I see you" and "I care." What patterns has he created just for you? Sometimes you'll find your language or phrases start to match. Maybe you use his expressions or he picks up on yours. That's emotional blending. It happens naturally when two people connect deeply. Have you caught yourself saying something and realizing it's just like him? Think about how time feels when you're with him. Does it move quickly or seem to disappear altogether? When connection is strong, time bends around presence. That timeless feeling is a quiet signal that your energies are deeply aligned. Have you ever lost track of hours in a single conversation with him? There may also be signs in your environment, songs playing at just the right time, shared memories popping up on the same day, or repeating numbers or symbols around moments with him. While they might seem small, they create a thread of meaningful coincidence. Are you noticing these quiet clues? When you're apart, and he still reaches out in moments when you most need him, that's more than just luck. It's a rhythm your relationship has built. He senses when something is off, even from a distance. Has he ever messaged you just when you were missing him most? You might find your goals and values starting to align without planning it. Maybe you both want the same kind of life, or your dreams start pointing in the same direction. These shared visions grow naturally when there's genuine connection. Do your paths feel like they're walking side by side? The ease with which you forgive each other is another sign. Even after frustration, you both come back, not because you have to, but because being apart feels unnatural. That resilience, that soft return, is devotion in motion. Have you felt that pull back to peace? You might not say it out loud, but you know where he stands and he knows the same about you. That silent confidence in the bond is rare. It's a trust that doesn't need constant confirmation. Can you feel that quiet certainty in the way he stays close? Even in silence, his presence feels comforting. You don't need to talk all the time. Just being together is enough. That kind of calm is only possible when the emotional connection is real and safe. Does the quiet between you feel full, not empty? If you ever feel like he's become a part of your daily thoughts, whether he's near or far, that's not just routine. It's love embedding itself in the details of your life. When his presence lingers in the everyday, It's a sign that he's already taken a place in your heart. And when all these patterns form a story that feels both familiar and magical, you realize something very real. Love has its own language, and you've been hearing it all along. Final thoughts. When love speaks without words. If you've made it this far, you now know that real love often shows itself not through loud declarations, but through quiet, consistent actions, emotional openness, and meaningful connections. It's in the little things, the timing, the energy, and the vulnerability shared. These hidden signs, inspired by timeless psychological insights, help you recognize when someone loves you more than they ever say out loud. Now it's your turn. Leave a comment below with the phrase "I see the signs" to show you watched until the end. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a moment of love, insight, and real connection.